Quilt number 3 is going to be a little more special for me. I try not to be biased, but Andrew and I have become really close buddies over the years. If you followed me on Instagram or actually if you go even further back into my YouTube videos, you'll see some videos with Andrew in them from when we were going to Disney on Ice at one point. So Andrew and I have a little special bond. We have some good times. He's hung out with us for our Benny and the Jets dinners. So our crew at my house for the first time last summer. We've just had a good time. So of course I need to make something special for Andrew. Actually, a couple years ago, I made this quilt for Andrew. And if you saw last year, I made a couple more I Spy quilts. So his was the one that all originated it. So for this quilt, for Andrew's blue quilt, I'm going to do the cool water pattern. And so this one only needs 35 10-inch squares. So then I will probably at this point have already pulled some out for Bethany's quilt and some that are going to go towards Megan's quilt in the end, just to give them more blue. And I am going to leave the white in on his just to kind of add some contrast. And then once we get the center all done, then I'm going to go ahead and go shop for the border. So on this one, I might actually even do a little inner border, even though it's not necessarily written into the pattern on this one. I just feel like it needs a little bit extra to break it up. So I'm going to start cutting up some squares and then we'll come back when we've got some stuff put together. So here we are at another design wall day. I've got my blocks all trimmed up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to sort them out by where the white placement is. So then when I put them on the design wall, I can then scooch them around and make sure that I don't have too many of the ones with the big white section together, too many of the ones with the little white section, and there's a little more spread out to them. So I'm gonna go put them in piles, and then we'll be back to put things on the design wall. So here I was thinking I was all done, but I'm missing 2 blocks. One right over here and one that I left a hole for down here. So I may have miscounted the amount of 10 squares I pulled out. So I'm gonna go make 2 more blocks to fill in those holes, and then we'll come back and get this all put together. New block 1, new block 2. I'm gonna see if these even fit where those holes are or if I need to rearrange everything. And then I'll show you the layout and then we'll start pulling them off. So knowing my luck, I'm gonna find 2 random blocks somewhere in this house when I start cleaning a little bit more, but for now, problem solved. And here it is in all its blue and white glory. I think it's as good as it's gonna get, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I feel like if I just keep overthinking it too much, I'll just find more things to keep rotating. And instead of getting this done, I'll just be rotating this for the rest of its life. So I'm gonna start unclipping the rows and start sewing them together. So now our middle section is all complete and it's just ready for the borders. Unfortunately, I didn't think to buy enough in advance to just rock and roll from here from the leftovers from Brandon's, but I will be using this one, this Moo Milk, that's actually what it's called, as the inner border again, and then hopefully there'll be enough of this one to be the outer border. So stay tuned. I'm gonna set this aside and then come back once I've got all the border pieces. I've got my quilt and Trixie behind me here. I went ahead and got my stuff for the border, so let me show you what I got so we can get cutting. So I was just barely short on my Moo Milk, so I got a little bit more for that to be my inner border. And then I went ahead and got some more of this for my outer border, so it'll kind of match Brandon's and be coordinated from there. So I'm gonna get these strips all cut out and sew them onto our quilt top.
I'm just trying to get my borders on. Got my blue ones cut now, but somebody is turning this into her own play map. So, are you helping? What do you think? Are you helping? I think so. Ugh. It's rough.
Here's where we started, and now here's where we're at. Andrew's cool water quilt is all finished, well, at least the quilt top is, and I think it turned out pretty great. So I'm really glad I did the double border in there. I think it makes it just a little bit bigger, a little bit cozier, and also helps tie it in and frame it up a little bit more than just going from straight from the squares up into the big border. So it gives it a little bit of separation, adds a little bit something in there extra, and kind of ties it into Brandon's quilt a little bit more. And so next up, we're going to be going on to the quilting and the binding. So honestly, I'm thinking that I'm just going to keep it consistent and do this for the binding as well. I think it's a good one, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do for my backing. I still want to go with the minky like I have on the last two, but am I going to go with the same? This one's going to need a 90 wide because it is past 60 inches wide, especially since I added that extra border. And so I'll have to figure out what colors are there, what we have available, what matches, whether I go the same as Brandon's or something different. Who knows? So come back next week and we will see. But in the meantime, let's take a closer look.